Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an advanced Dungeons and Dragons monster video on the Githzerai. I did the Githyanki last week. I'm doing the Githzerai today, this week. But before I get into that, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you would hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. I like to think I write good stories that make you think. I wrote a 3-book series called Drifters, science fiction western. I wrote a book about a house in New Orleans. It's just a fun story, a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. It's called The House Off Farrago Road. I wrote a political fantasy called The Righteous President. And I got the first 2 written. It's going to be a series. The first 2 are written. The first one is Vanguard 1. Second one is Task Force Terminus. It's set in the future. It's like space warfare, but it's a study of humanity from an alien perspective. And I hope you get my books, and I hope you enjoy them. Now on with the Githzerai. As a dungeon master, there are a wide variety of monsters, creatures, and beings that you can run against your player characters. When I design a campaign, I try and use the weirdest and most outlandish adversaries I can find. This perplexes my players and throws them some curveballs they maybe aren't expecting. The Githzerai, oh my god, fit that bill. They can be found on page 45 of the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Fiend Folio Tome. I suggest you read through their description very, very, very thoroughly before you use them in your game. And you'll also need to read up on their distant antagonistic cousins, the Githyanki. They can be found on page 43 to 45 of that same manual. It's actually the entry preceding them. These 2 races are intertwined from the root and share many commonalities. I would also recommend you read up on Mind Flayers, Red Dragons, Limbo, because that's kind of sort of where they're at. Just to be thorough. Githzerai are powerful psionics, just as the Githyanki are, but they are not as physically gifted. They do, however, possess a 50% magic resistance, which somewhat evens the scales. The classes favored and weapons used are very similar to their cousins as well, though there are some stark differences. Be sure to take note of these differences, especially with the silver swords and the like, and the way the appearance of the armor and swords. The book specifically mentions that the Githzerai inhabit Limbo and coexist with the Slayadi, so you might want to read up on them as well. One can surmise that at least limited partnerships may have been formed. Be sure to read up on the Slayadi. Githzerai also have a limited truce with Mind Flayers, which suggests they have a working relationship with their former masters, at least some of the time. The Slayadi and the Illithids may give you an angle to work into your storyline. Another difference between the 2 is that whereas the Githyanki worship a Lich Queen, the Githzerai worship an undying Wizard King. Wizard with a W, Wizard King. This fighter magic user prevents Githzerai from surpassing 9th level of experience. If you want a reason to have the Githzerai rebel against this fighter magic user, this Wizard King, that might be a way to do it. Because if they get too high a level, he prevents them from advancing. That might do some animosity there, because I'm sure not all the Githzerai are happy about that. I believe the 2 species, Githzerai and Githyanki, are so closely interrelated, even though they're bitter enemies, that it's difficult to incorporate one of these into your campaign without the other one as well. Githzerai are well-organized military combat specialists, as are the Githyanki. Both are highly trained, tactical and strategic thinkers. play them as such. They are no fools. They're exceptionally intelligent. Playing them as bandits or random wandering monsters does both the monsters and your players a significant disservice. These guys can plan and execute intricate strategies, and their tactics can be virtually Machiavellian. These guys are smart. Play them as such. Again, I hope you're enjoying the monster videos that I'm doing. I try to give different ideas on how to play monsters and give you ideas for different monsters to run in your games. If you're a player and you're listening to this, then yeah, it might give you some ideas of what to look for if you run into one of these. So, it works on both sides of the aisle, as it were. I hope this finds everybody well, and I hope you're enjoying them. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. We elect cookie-cutter politicians every single election cycle. Yes men who maintain the status quo and do just enough to make us believe the system still works. Imagine, if you will, a president who actually tries to fix things. If you like action, political intrigue, and a righteous crusade, check out my political thriller, The Righteous President.